Hi, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Sirlana.
And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe
on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.
Seconds. 5-second tone followed by a 1-second pause.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe.
Okay, gang, let's go.
From the space city called Houston, Texas, welcome to Spaceboy Universe, featuring Spaceboy and the lovely Sirlana. So strap in and prepare for launch sequence.
Greetings and salutations. Yes, this is Spaceboy Universe and we're live. Yes, we took last week off. Apologies. We must needed some rest there. But as always, across from me is the lovely Sirlana, and we are ready to get into tonight's show, and it's a good one. We have show number 3.11. Tonight's guest is Robert W. Sullivan IV, and we'll be talking a little bit of cinema symbolism. Why are you shaking your head over there, Sirlana?
You rusty?
I'm a little rusty, yes.
Do you have a beverage?
I sort of had a beverage here just a second ago. Anyway, you know, tell you what, Space Cadets, follow us on Twitter. That's right. Follow us on Twitter at the SBU Universe. Follow Sirlana at Sirlana, where you'll get the latest tweets of when she's laughing at my forehead. And then, of course, follow me at Spaceboy Music. Make sure to hashtag your tweets tonight with hashtag SBU Universe and hashtag Space Cadets. In addition to Twitter, you can find us all over social media. Just look for the term Spaceboy Universe. Hey, Space Cadets, you'll want to check out our YouTube channel. We do more than the archive of shows there, yes. And we have yet to be demonetized. There is video content from SB Music, video interviews, 2-Bit Gamers, and so much more. Hit that subscribe button and click the bell to be notified when new content is available. Can't catch a show live? No problemo. Usually we're quite dead anyway, so, you know, you can take Spreaker on the go. You know, take it us with Spreaker, SoundCloud, iTunes, iHeartMedia, and Spotify. Yes, Sirlana, I'm hopping along with my vocabulary, and hopefully you can get me back on track.
Yeah, I take one Saturday off, and it all just goes to heck, man. We had a storm front come through this last Saturday, and it just, like, took us out. Meaning physically, just like when a storm comes through, we don't do well physically for some reason. So I was just like, I don't feel good. I can't get my head to stop pounding, and it just wouldn't stop. So that was my reason for not being here. So
even tonight,
hey, there's Bob.
Even tonight, I feel like I got a little frog in my throat. You know.
That's why I asked you for a beverage. I'm actually drinking Earl Grey over here.
Is it hot?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. See what you did. See what you did.
What, did I just put the image of Picard in your head and you're like...
Got me all choked up.
So anyway, how are you, Sirlana, today?
Well, it's the same old. You know, 2018 is winding down.
Thank God.
And I don't know why it's just been horrific, horrible, terrible. I thought 2016 was bad. I think this probably is on level of that. And I'm talking from a personal perspective. Mm-hmm. I'm not talking about politics or world. I'm just talking like, it sucked. It's not getting any better. I've seen no evidence that things are going to get any better. It seems to be getting worse, and I don't know what to do about it.
Well, I know that we've had a pretty rough year. Like just recently, I have a leak in my radiator, and I had to take it to the car dealership to get it repaired.
Not a euphemism. It's a real
car
problem.
it's like it just never stops. We just feel
We've
like
had a medical thing. We've had 2 separate dental emergencies. And now it just will not stop. I just don't know what to do.
If retrograde or
It's over. It's over, but
you would think that it was doing it the whole year. And speaking of, I bring that up because of our good friend Patrick Sporer. Bless his heart. Hurricane Michael just tore up the area that he lives in. But slowly they're getting back. He finally has internet again, and at some point we're going to get him back on the show.
Hopefully he'll tell us about what it was like and everything.
And he says that the area is not going to be ever the same as it was before. And but yeah, I'm anxious to get him on.
Why does it seem like Harvey happened to Houston? It was the worst thing that's ever happened to Houston. But it's like Houston just rebooted, and we're like, we're fine.
Not to say that in Patrick's area is not like this, but Houston definitely has this can-do spirit. I'll just say it. We bitch a lot here in Houston, but at the end of the day, when we need to pull together, unless you're a pastor at a big church
conglomeration,
then everybody comes together.
I saw things I've never seen before. I saw a giant pool on Beltway 8 that the retaining walls had made this giant lake, and it stayed there for 3 weeks, and there's nothing they could do about it till they could get
the water level.
The water around it had to drain. Then they could get in there and put something over the side and then drain that. But they couldn't drain it into the bayou until the bayou went down. That was like, you got to wait for Mother Nature to do her thing.
Right.
And that was weeks. Weeks that was shut down. It was just amazing. But it's almost, there's no evidence of it anywhere. It's like it never happened. It's really weird. Although, there's still people trying to collect their damage for their damages and whatnot.
It just reminded me of a show we did with fake media where even the media was down here trying to cause some stuff.
Yes. And I would love to do a more in-depth thing
what
on
happened?
that.
Historians said, get that mic
out of here.
Yeah,
just go away. Stop making up stuff.
You're causing the problem. You're not causing the solution here. So,
anyway, but that's 2018 has been personally, can it be worse? Yeah, and please God, I don't want to find out. But let's talk about 2018. We'll step back a little bit. We'll get back from personal stuff. 2018 has been a heck of a year for good old YouTube. Every year, YouTube puts out something called YouTube Rewind, which is a highlight of what happened on the platform all year. And this year, they've already put it out, and it has this distinct honor of now being the official most disliked video on YouTube of all time. And that kind of gives me a warm, fuzzy feeling. Now, what's going on with that? Well, the most disliked video has been Justin Bieber's song Baby from 2010. Just under 10 million dislikes. So what happened there was I actually read where somebody said, let me get the statistic up here. In one day, 300,000 dislikes got removed from Justin Bieber's Baby video because people wanted to take their dislike and give it to YouTube's Rewind 2018 so they can make a statement. Now, what's this all about, you say? I watched it. I didn't know, not that I'm the most connected, I didn't know half those people. I didn't know anybody except for Will Smith. And I'm like, what does Will Smith have to do with anything from YouTube from 2018? Nothing. They just stuck him in there because they could get him, I guess. So what happened was, you and I were watching a PewDiePie video, and he was doing his Lawai thing, and he got on this track where he's like, well, maybe we should go to the Justin Bieber song and just remove the dislike. You don't have to like it, just remove your dislike. So the dislikes will go down. And then you give your dislike to the YouTube Rewind. So I don't know if he was joking but the next thing you know, it actually happened. So he might get credited with that, but the main reason most people disliked it is because it seemed so detached from everything that actually happened on YouTube and the big stories that actually happened. It was the whitewash, positive, upbeat version of things that happened on YouTube, things that you and I and most people never saw or heard about the whole year. Because, unfortunately, positive things aren't popular.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me, correct me if I'm wrong here, Solana, but shouldn't retrospective of some kind reflect
on the good and the bad and the ugly?
Well, I mean, not necessarily the good, the bad, and the ugly, the most popular,
Yeah, so since YouTube Rewind was first published on December 6th, the backlash has been loud and constant. One of the creators who starred in it, Marquez Brownlee, has addressed it, while other YouTubers have made their own versions to be more authentic, posting their own versions of a Rewind. The backlash boils down to a growing disparity between the platform's true creator culture and the polished version that YouTube wants to present. So there's what happened, and there's YouTube's version of what happened. So the creators weren't fairly and equally distributed, represented. So YouTube is in charge of making it, sees it as something completely different, as it's you and I as viewers see it as something different. As content creators, they see it as something different. And YouTube sees it as, a way to pat themselves on the back. So dethroning Baby in dislikes wasn't our goal. They said, honest feedback can suck, but we are listening and we appreciate how much people care, said the representative from YouTube. And I'm like, they don't get it. It's not going to change anything. But I'm still glad it happened and people let their feelings be known. Because two significant things happened. One happened like day 1 or 2 of 2018, and that was Logan Paul and the Suicide Forest scandal, showing the dead body even though he blurred out the face. Of course, YouTube wants to sweep that under a rug, even though it still got them hits and views, and I'm sure, it called plenty of attention to the platform. But actually, they're saying Friday by Rebecca Black was briefly the most hated. But anyway, so
that was a pretty awful music video.
They say between 2011 and 2014, YouTube Rewind has been on the same page as the culture in YouTube. And then it started changing in 2015 from an amateur do-it-yourself platform to an entertainment staple, which it is an entertainment staple now, I think. But in 2017, the grievances started, and it continued this year. So, of course, they didn't mention the Suicide Forest, but what they could mention is, and they could find a way to do this right, is PewDiePie versus T-Series. I'm sure they don't want to offend T-Series, but that's been hilarious to me.
Right.
He even went so far as to make a diss track against the T-Series. T-Series is an Indian media channel, which is mostly Indian music videos, and it gained so many subscribers in a short period of time. It was sort of suspicious. If you listen to his diss track, which is, it's named Bitch Lasagna, you'll hear at the very end of the song, he'll go, sub bot, and I think that's his explanation, is maybe it's a bot they made to subscribe users. But people were asking for YouTube Rewind, where is PewDiePie, either by himself or his battle with T-Series, which is DeFranco, one of the users on there.
At least his chair made it into the video.
He did. There was an animator who was being highlighted. So not only did she have it in the chair, and that got by him, when she scoots by in the chair, there's 2 shelves on a wall. And people have zoomed in, there's a submarine, a hand with 2 fingers up, and Pewds' P symbol, his P icon.
Yeah, the brofist.
The brofist.
Yeah.
So it says sub to Pewds. And then off to the side, there's a lasagna.
Now I'm going to have to look at that one again.
Yeah. I'll show you which one it is.
Easter eggs. Gotta love them.
And it says, what about KSI versus Logan Paul? If you don't want to talk about Suicide Forest, you could talk about his stupid battle.
His fight that he had.
Where's Shane Dawson, who had one of the biggest series on YouTube in 2018? I don't know anything about that. But could be that YouTube simply isn't aware of what its real community is doing, but it also might be intentional snubs because they don't like the controversy. So
they're punishing certain content
creators. It's no longer a celebratory moment the community looks forward to. So they dissed it and dismissed it, and I say good for the community. That's like in his video, Pewd said this is how hate for one thing can be removed to use a positive thing to make a statement about something else. So it's like removing it from Bieber and giving it to YouTube Rewind. I just thought that was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just now looking at chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I've been kind of periodically, hello, Dino. Hello, Catalina.
Catalina, Dino, Bomb, and Horace Zero. I know who Horace Zero is.
Mm-hmm.
That's that's a friend of mine. So, yeah, I'm glad people did that. I really am. They got the word out, and I don't think it's going to make a difference to YouTube. I think they're still going to do what they want to do, but
right.
Good thing they did.
Well, it's interesting you bring this up because this is very indicative of different companies right now that are not
in touch with
their customers.
Users or viewers or customers, yeah.
And the number one thing I always complain about, Star Wars.
Oh, God. We'll be talking about that, too.
Well, I'm just saying, but as far as not giving their customers what they want, of course, it'll be interesting to see what J.J. Abrams does with Star Wars Episode 9, which will be out next Christmas, I believe. And so, we'll see how that goes down. But, whether it's that or, with Marvel coming out.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah. So what's your question?
Well, what do we think about the trailer that just hit for the next Avengers?
Endgame?
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. When I saw Ant-Man at the end of that one.
It looks even more depressing than the one we just watched.
But anyway.
Poor Stark.
Yeah. This is not the first time that Marvel has lied to us about a video trailer. Because the previous Avengers movie, they had the Incredible Hulk. There was that scene where they're all rushing to do battle, and you see the Hulk and all that. And
the Hulk wasn't there.
No, he wouldn't come out of Banner. He was having a tissy fit. But
tissy fit.
Yeah.
How is that different from a hissy fit? Anyway,
always making up my own words. Anyway, so but yeah, Endgame. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it.
I want to know the story. With Stark, that clip could be right just before he gets rescued at the last second. You never know. But I liked it because it ended on Scott. Was that his first name or last name?
Yeah, Scott.
Ant-Man Scott. He's like, hey, can I come in? I've got some information.
Right.
Just being his doofy-doo self.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Catalina, for backing me up. Hissy and tissy.
Whatever. Anyway, let's see. On to the next item of business. Let's see.
What Sir Lana is saying to you is, don't give me any encouragement.
So I didn't click I had read you an article headline, but I didn't click it. How much more of Facebook's F-ups can we endure or care about? I didn't actually click on that, but let's talk about the latest one real quick. Facebook exposed up to 6.8 million users' private photos to developers in the latest leak. I don't post photos of anything super secret or important or of myself just for this reason. So
now, how did they leak it?
Let's see. Facebook exposed private photos from up to 6.8 million users to apps that weren't supposed to see them. These apps were authorized to see a limited set of user photos, but a bug allowed them to see pictures that they weren't granted access to. These included photos from people's stories as well as photos that people uploaded but never posted, because Facebook saves copies of everything because they're freaky like that. And I'm just like, if you put anything on the internet, even if it's in a closed environment like this, just be aware nothing's secret and everything is forever.
It ain't going anywhere.
Yeah, and the internet is forever. Even after we're dead, your photo will still be up there somewhere in cyberspace. So Just use your common sense. Now, this happened between September 12th and December 25th. Why we're just finding out about it now, I don't know. But Facebook told TechCrunch, which is a website, that it found this breach on the 25th of September, but it's not clear why they didn't tell us till now. It affected users. You're going to receive a notification alerting them that their photos may have been exposed. Now, I've done this before where I'll go to something and then this app will say, can we have access to your Facebook? I'm like, no. And then I can't get in. I'm like, well, then I don't need you. Whatever this is, I don't know if it's a game or if it's some other application. If I have to get Facebook involved in this, it's not worth it. So they said the bug had to do with an error related to Facebook login and its Photos API, which allows developers to access Facebook photos within their own apps. And it impacted all users who had logged into a third-party app, just unidentified third-party app, using Facebook accounts. So watch out when you're on some other application or site that wants access to your Facebook or wants you to log in to that app or site with Facebook. Just really, really know who you're dealing with when it comes to that. So I don't, if its stipulation is I can only access this website or this content or this app using my Facebook login, I don't need it that bad. Hey, Gene. Hey, Bev.
Well, like I've always said, at the end of the day, is that you post it up there,
You've got to be aware that anybody, at any time, anything can happen.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen things that the government spies on us with. Mm-hmm. So, at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't give a crap what you think. He's got his money. He's banking. So,
He's buying more cans of oil for his robot joints and...
So,
So, anyway, Thursday morning, just after 8 p.m. Pacific time, 2 pilots boarded Virgin Galactic spaceplane, ignited the vehicle's rocket engine high above the Mojave Desert for a total of 60 seconds, soaring to an altitude of 82.7 kilometers. The vehicle reached its maximum height, and the Virgin team celebrated, making it a new record. At least Virgin Galactic argues it went to space, but it depends on who you ask. Where is space? When is it space?
I'm right here.
Do you got to leave the atmosphere to be space? Or do you need to go some distance away from the Earth to be, quote unquote, space, outer space? At some point, the higher you travel through the sky, the Earth's atmosphere starts to thin, giving way to the vacuum of space. But the exact height at which all airspace ends and outer space begins has never been agreed upon.
So you're trying to take Branson's glory away, is what you're trying to do?
The World Air Sports Federation announced on November 30th it's considering modifying the Kármán line, the altitude that's considered the boundary to space. That's named after Theodor von Kármán, a Hungarian engineer and mathematician who first calculated where Earth's atmosphere becomes too thin for airplanes to achieve height. So is that space, even though it's still got some atmosphere? But for now, they're saying, considering they're thinking about moving it to 80 kilometers or 50 miles high is going to be outer space. I thought that was interesting. And this gets really technical. This goes on. This article goes on and on and on and on and on. And I'm just like, wow.
But at the end of the day, don't you feel a little bit excited that we're on the verge of
Virgin's on the verge.
Joe Q consumer to be able to book a flight to go into space?
Mm-hmm. That's great. I'll wish them well. I'll throw flowers at them, and then I'm going to go back home and read a book.
All right. So do you have anything to finalize before we...
Well, just in bummer gamer news.
Bummer gamer news.
Yeah, maybe you're the only one that cares because you're old school. Nintendo's NES Classic and SNES Classic are going out of production for good.
Well, I've already got the NES Classic, but I don't care for this.
Many consoles will be going out of production. Once the holiday is over, they will not be restocked. It isn't to supply issues. It's just they're done with it.
They want to focus on their current stuff.
So rather than focusing on nostalgia gadgets, Nintendo wants to direct gamers to the classic content it's adding to Nintendo Switch Online, which will have Super Mario Brothers, The Legend of Zelda, and other titles. And it's adding Ninja Gaiden, Wario's Woods, and Adventures of Lolo. So, I don't know. Maybe you're not sad.
Well, if you have a Switch. But I'm looking forward to the PS1 that they're going to be. It's a PS1
Really?
Classic Sony's putting out. Yeah.
Oh, they're getting on board?
Yeah, it looks like a mini PS1. And it's got a few games in it, and...
I wasn't aware of video games in that era of PS1, PS2, so I'm kind of out of touch with that. I don't know what was out during that time because I was doing PC gaming.
Well, I definitely
That's
had
how old I am.
PS1. Played the heck out of it.
Is this 90s?
Yeah, late 90s.
Okay, PC games only.
All right, so speaking of bummers, let's go ahead and take our break, and when we come back, I believe we'll be hooked up with Robert Sullivan IV, and we have an interesting show tonight lined up for you, so don't touch that dial.
This is Patrick Scott Spore, and you're listening to Space Boy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
This is author Jordan Root. You are listening to the Space Boy Universe.
This is K28, and I'm listening to Space Boy Universe.
Hi, y'all. This is Lori calling from Texas, and I love listening to Space Boy Universe.
Hey, this is Dave Cruz, host of Beyond the Strange, and you're listening to Space Boy Universe.
This is Wendy. I'm listening to Space Boy Universe.
Hey, y'all. This is Lorelai DeLille. I listen to Space Boy Universe. Don't you? Tell your mama and them I said hi.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Robin.
Robert W. Sullivan IV is a Freemason, philosopher, historian, antiquarian, jurist, lay theologian, writer, mystic, radio TV personality, best-selling author, CEO, and lawyer. He's been on many radio and television shows, including but not limited to Coast to Coast AM, Caravan to Midnight, Dreamland, Fade to Black, and many more. He was featured as Author of the Month in January 2014 by Graham Hancock. Robert is the author of The Royal Ark of Enoch, The Impact of the Masonic Ritual, Philosophy and Symbolism, Cinema Symbolism, A Guide to Esoteric Imagery in Popular Movies, and Cinema Symbolism 2, More Esoteric Imagery from Popular Movies. Robert is the CEO of Deadwood Publishing, and you can visit him on his website at Robert Sullivan IV, that's for robertsullivan.iv.com, and we'll mention the rest of his links for his social media later on, but for now, we welcome you, Robert Sullivan IV. Thank you for coming on the show tonight.
Hello, guys.
Okay, he's cutting in and out.
Well, right off the bat, Rob, we appreciate you coming on. We want to say right off the bat, thank you to Solaris Blue Raven for putting us in connection with you. She is an angel, to say the least, when it comes to recommending guests, and we really appreciate this opportunity to get to know and pick your brain on this knowledge that you have.
Well, thank you.
I mean, are you
tonight?
I'm sorry, Robert, but you're cutting in and out, and I'm not sure what's the cause of that.
Do you have like a noise cancellation?
Which
you look at me, I don't know. Let's see. I don't know if the settings have changed. There's nothing I can do with the settings.
I don't think it's the Skype thing. Well, I say I don't think it's the Skype thing, but...
Let's see.
I mean, I hear you typing, Rob, so...
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It just periodically you seem to just drop, no reason. Mm-hmm. But I guess... Go ahead, Sir Lionel. Let's see where this takes us.
Well, I've been combing through your book. I guess it's the first book on cinema symbolism, and I haven't been able to read every single chapter due to time constraints. But the things I've learned, I've been like, whoa. The first thing that struck me before I get into the good stuff with the collective consciousness is, as a kid growing up, I was in the 80s watching cartoons, never knowing that the Smurfs were a communist commune. And that Papa Smurf stood in for Stalin. And what really blew my mind is, I think you said that Gargamel, their enemy, and his cat was to signify Western culture coming in to destroy their ideals, and that the cat's name Azrael literally means an angel of death in 3 other cultures. So I was like, that blew my mind right there.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Rob, you're cutting out again.
Yeah, we're catching like a third of your first word, and then everything's dropping off.
You want me to?
Do you want to hang up and try it again, or should we?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try to reconnect.
Yeah, let's try that.
All right.
Okay. This is why we use call-in studio.
This is why we hate Skype.
Yeah.
This goes back to even when we were hosting the Quantum Matrix show, the Quantum Hologram Matrix show.
All right, let's try this again.
Let's see if we get lucky.
Okay, we'll try this again. Are you there, Robert? Let's see.
Yes, hello.
Oh, that
sounds better.
Must have just been a bad connection, I suppose. Who knows?
Yeah. Oh, it sounds really good now.
I did nothing different on my end, so it just must have been one of those bad connections that happen from time to time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just roll the dice.
Blame it on Microsoft, yes.
Yeah, it's Microsoft.
Yeah, it's just...
Oh, no. It's doing it again. This is such a bummer. Well, should we try to have him call as I reconnect to the studio? I have to go into Microsoft and change the forwarding.
Rob, let's try to get you connected to our other phone line here. And
he can still use Skype.
Yeah, you can still use Skype to call it. So let's do this. Go ahead and let's initiate that call.
Okay.
Come back again?
Do you like?
We can't. I'm sorry, we can't hear you because you're cutting out. If you want to type it, yeah. Okay. It's terrible. Okay. Now,
we're off one lazy week, and
it all goes to heck. Let's see. All right. Now, how did I get to our account preferences? Sorry, this is live. I know. How did I do it last time? Settings. Okay. How do I get to Skype login on the web? Because I did it once and I can't do it again.
I don't know. You're the Skype master.
Oh, no, I'm not. Let's see. Sign in. Account. I had to change the forwarding. No, it's higher end. Oh, for heaven's sakes. Passwords.
Yep, we're doing it live, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, so while Solana's kind of piecing this together, I'll bring up Captain Marvel, the trailer for that. If anybody else has seen it out there, I thought it's kind of and kind of shrugging my shoulders at it, waiting to see when it officially comes out. I'm not a big fan of the lady that's playing Captain Marvel, but it is what it is. So, how are we doing over there, Solana?
I'm just trying. Phone number's invalid. Okay. Oh, put the 1 in front of it. Okay. All right. Let's try going to call in studio. Do you have a way to...
The way of what?
Okay, don't. You know what I got to do? I have to use Skype to call.
Go ahead and call.
But I'll disconnect with him. Do you have a way to communicate with him?
Is he still connected?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see here. Okay, I have connected to Facebook.
Thank you for calling Call-In Studios
Sorry.
host and call screener
This
line.
is usually
Please
behind
enter
the
your
scenes
show
stuff.
number and press pound.
Sorry about this. This is we usually do this ahead of time, You don't ever have to hear this.
Enter your 6-digit PIN number. Welcome, host.
Okay.
You are now in the host room and can manage your callers from the Call-In Studio web interface.
And it's 833.
(202-7286).
Yeah, I didn't want to really say the Skype number. I mean, not the Skype number. The
don't call in right now.
Yeah, don't, because you'll really upset me, and I don't want to be upset with my space cadets.
No.
We're trying to get a guest on so you entertain you.
But later, if he wanted. So you have a way to communicate that to him?
Yeah, I just sent him the phone number.
On the account, there's $4.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Do we have a way of charging it right now?
Let me see if I can open a new window. I should have seen that as soon as I got in here. No, I don't have a way to do that right now.
So no way to open up a new tab and type in call in studio and...
Yeah, it just takes me to the phone. Oh, wait, here we go.
Call?
No.
Are we able to call somebody from the call-in studio?
Mm-hmm.
Did you see his number, or it didn't show?
Didn't show. I'm assuming I know your PayPal.
It's the usual.
Okay. Well, what do we want to talk about while this is going on?
How much I despise Skype.
Yeah, well, we did this because at his request he wanted to use Skype, so that's what we did. But normally we use Skype to connect to our interface.
The history, here's a history lesson with the SBU and how time over...
Okay, we got it. Go ahead.
Anyway, so over time, as we were building the studio, we started off using 2 Skype accounts. One where you, the Space Cadet, could call in for guest, and then the other one was the line for our actual guest to call in. And
how we did that was amazing.
It was a lot of trickery on my part. Anyway, and
but the way we've got it now is so nice. Even though it's a little costly, but we use Skype to call this 800 number, which connects us to an application on the web that holds a toll-free number that you can call, the guest can call. We can all talk to each other.
And the reason we use this particular software on the web is because it's more effective than purchasing hardware, which
it's web-based.
The hardware part, if I was to do the hardware aspect to this, would cost me an arm and a leg and a private part. So
Yeah, we've looked into every option. This one is kind of pay as you go.
And the nice thing about the call-in studio is that we pay for an 800 number, so the callers, there is no cost to the callers when they call us. So
let me see if there's a way to get to Skype back here. I hate the Skype interface. It's so minimal. It's ludicrous.
Did you forward the number back?
Okay, let me talk to you.
And then I guess if you still have Skype up, and you can send a message.
Yeah, send a message. It's 833, isn't it? There we go. If he uses Skype, it shouldn't make any difference, should it?
No, I mean you should be able to use Skype to call.
If it still messes up, it could be on his end.
Well, it could be, but we won't know until we eliminate our obstacles and do what we normally do, and we'll find out if it's on his end or on our end. Were you able to send him a message?
I sent him a message. This is our toll-free number. So we just wait. But, yeah, like I said, I've read bits of his book. He has 2 books on cinema symbolism. And just the bit I've read is just, my mind is just kind of blown, because it made me rethink about some popular movies that I've seen hundreds of times, but I just like messages that just right over my head.
When you brought up the Smurf thing to me, I found that very fascinating, and I guess on one end it bothers me in the sense that because the way the world is right now with all these groups being argumentative with their customer, how we were talking about like Star Wars, for example.
That's in his book too.
And how, why does everything have to be something, more than what it is? But I recognize you've got...
Sorry to cut you off. I think our guest is calling in.
Okay, let's see.
Let's see. Are you there, Rob?
Yeah, hello.
Oh,
okay. Sounds good so far.
So far.
It seems to work, and I think it was a toll-free number, so it doesn't look like I need any Skype credits or anything.
Good.
Okay, that's great. I'm glad. Let's try to jump back into it. We were just discussing, why do things have to have so many meanings or hidden meanings? But you were talking about the Smurfs were we last spoke with you, so I'll let you go on from wherever you'd like to go from there.
Right. It's a lot of movies.
It's still cutting off. It's got to be Skype. It's got to be Skype.
Okay.
So he's terminated the call.
We did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, anyway, so I guess, I'm looking from a point of view from an agenda push thing.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was going to ask him. Like, why are we telling the same? In some aspects, why are we telling the same story over and over with these archetypes? Or can we just can't help ourselves because it's embedded in us? That's like these are the like 12 things we know how to talk about. As storytellers, mm-hmm. Or. He said. I think he said in his book, and I saw in some other research that we always say, "Oh, Hollywood's running out of ideas." Well, they're running out of ideas, new ways to tell old ideas. That's what it is. So he says Skype must not be working. So if you've got a cell phone that has unlimited long distance or something, right? You can call this number. Right. Am I thinking right?
Mm-hmm. It's a toll-free number.
But yeah, that's one thing I was saying. I kept seeing is there's these archetypes in storytelling, and they're coming from as they were put forth by Carl Jung, the philosopher, and there are these Jungian archetypes. And I looked them. If you go look them up, there's like anywhere from 4 to 12, and I thought that was all interesting, but why bother putting all these in film and TV? And I think it goes beyond film and TV. It goes into art and music and architecture. I think it even goes into products that we use and buy without us knowing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because something that he talks about that gets referenced in The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, is that Neo goes to get this disc he made for these people, and he hides this disc in this book. And the name of the book he hides things in is Simulation.
Mm-hmm.
Calling me on Skype. If not, we'll reschedule and test the system beforehand. Okay, let me drop this. Okay.
I was just looking at the Skype outage map of the United States, and although there's not some major areas, but like it shows some yellow over Houston, towards New York and Washington, Phoenix, Los Angeles, and Vancouver, Seattle area. So nothing major, but I did see a couple of spikes in the reporting.
Isn't that festive?
Hello?
Hello? We're going to try this again. Sorry, Robert.
That's okay. If it breaks up, we'll just reschedule it because it seems that there's a Skype outage or something.
Yeah, he was just looking up what the status of Skype is right now across America and Canada. So seems to be some spotty outages. That could be
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear right.
Yep.
It's almost like when a certain level of the volume hits, it meters out.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so
what do you want to try to do? You want to?
Is it
like when you first speak, it's good, and then your second sentence, it starts
fade.
Yeah, starts cutting you off. It's almost like it was a conspiracy. To type to him.
I mean,
I can't even type correctly.
Rob, Solana's sending you a message.
Okay.
Because you keep cutting out.
All right.
All right. Well, we're sorry about that. Maybe we can reschedule him when Microsoft has got their act together. Sorry, I'm moving my mic because Skype is in the way of the mic there.
Yeah,
He's typing me. Okay.
So we're going to reschedule?
We'll work with his...
But we could open up the phone lines to...
I have to get reconnected.
Yeah, let's do that.
Well, we could take a break.
Yeah, we're up for a break, so let's take the break. And when we come back, we'll open up the phone lines and have our Space Cadets call to the home base and chat for a little bit and continue the conversation. We could still continue to talk about things that we've researched about the Hollywood symbolism and that good stuff. Mm-hmm. And if the Space Cadets want to add any more P&J to the situation, then, we're up for it with a little glass of milk. So let's see here. Get over here.
I've got to reconnect.
You got to reconnect?
Yeah, but he's typing.
Okay.
Can I do that while he's still typing?
Yeah.
Reconnect to the studio?
Well, we got a 5-minute block for a commercial, so...
Okay, so... Run itself out.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Hey, Solana!
What?
If Spaceboy Universe was cheese, would you eat it? Come on now, it's a simple question.
Maybe?
SpaceboyUniverse.com.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Ron.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're back, and call-in studio is up thanks to the lovely Sirlana, and on the phone we have the one and the only impressible person in the whole wide world. I'm just
making up his own names.
Making up my own names. We have Dino, and I'm not talking about Bev's dog. How are you, Dino?
Hey, kids. How you doing, Cadet?
It's good to hear from you.
Hey. Well, I'm a little tired, but I'm always up for this. Almost went to see the new Clint Eastwood movie, Mule. Some people say it's decent,
I heard it's pretty decent.
Then people online I was on some Facebook page, and people online, some of them were poo-pooing him, saying how he doesn't support kids when he's got kids everywhere, that he didn't marry the mothers, and when he's done with the mothers, he's done with the kids, and they're talking about all these women saying, oh, I met him, and he put his arm around me, and I did this, and I'm saying, boy, in this era of me-we, I don't know, he's one of these slick guys that gets away with it, even they say that George Walker Bush that just died, that toward the end there, he was putting his hand where it didn't belong either. I guess some people like Trump get away with that stuff.
Well, I guess in all fairness, anyway, Bush was in a wheelchair, so his hand was a little bit lower.
I don't know. I'm not taking it up. I've been accused of things in the last couple of years that 10 years ago people wouldn't have even tripped on, but it's the times we're in. But anyhow, as far as technology and such, what can we look back upon the last couple of weeks? It looks like we've had some rocket launches, and some of them were very successful, apparently. This private rocket industry is going full ahead, just like the science fiction I used to read in the 60s.
Yeah, exactly.
That were all these private companies.
So I got a question for you, Dino. I just... to the credit of our good friend from Beyond the Strange, Dave, posted a thing on his Facebook about California wants to start taxing text.
Text?
Yeah, text.
Yeah.
Texting.
Text messages.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I understand.
You could say wants to start taxing Texas. You're like, that's not going to happen.
Text.
Well, what it is the text messaging. From what I understand, it's not each text. They're talking some people that need money in the assembly, the state assembly. We're talking about just a flat charge that would be added onto your phone. But it took me quite a while to get into cell phones. As cool as it's nice to have instant communication. I grew up at a different time where you'd run for a phone booth or borrow someone's phone, but I finally do have a smartphone. But if you look at your bill each month, and they get us away from a lot of things. I'm not just talking phone companies, but when they get you on this automatic payment plan, because most people don't check their bills every month, and hey, it's not real money if it's just on paper and it's being withdrawn from your checking account automatically each month. But if you look at your bills, like I was up until recently with AT&T, I went to Consumer Cellular now, half the price, still the same towers apparently, so the no quality, but you still look at each of the charges, and there are about 5 different charges that are put on by government regulation. I mean, I don't have the bill in front of me from the old days, but it's like or recent days, but there's like a bill for a local charge for something. There's a bill for 911 that used to be a few pennies or a nickel. It's up to like 15 cents now. There's a couple of charges. If you read them, you'll know, but they're like $2.57. And when you add all these together, these can add like $10 to your cell phone bill that, well, for someone like me, I'm not going to complain. Other people that have big families or have to keep in touch with work, but for me, I don't need to make a lot of calls. They're making a profit off of me in a big way, you know?
Right.
So to add another charge, text message. It's too much.
It is. This has gone on, back when landlines were in effect, where they had these nickel and dime charges for, various programs. Now, I had read somewhere in relating to this tax on text that there's a new FCC ruling that could just block this altogether. So that might be an upside for you guys out in California, that Californians could get some relief from their representatives trying to tax y'all to death, courtesy of the government.
Well, we shall see.
Yes.
Excuse me for interrupting, but we shall see, because the FCC, you have to remember, the current FCC leadership is the same, especially the one guy at the top, is the same guy that is tried 2 times now, even though people didn't want it, to have a fast and a slow internet, to keep net neutrality. So I don't know if that comforts me, that this person seems to be that's running the FCC now seems to be all for the companies and the corporations and not for the consumer.
Well, let's hope that you do get some relief from this, because I think I think it's ridiculous that to be taxed on something like this. But it's not like I haven't seen this before.
Are they going to tax the feature of texting, or every text?
I imagine it's like the feature. You have texting, then you get this tax will be. You have text taxing. There, it's more of a
text tax.
Yeah, text tax.
It's a tongue tire.
It is. So what else is going on in your universe, Dino?
Well, I just wanted to say that reminded me of Paul Hellyer, the former chief of what do they call it? The chief of staff for the Canadian government over 20 years ago, and also, I think, what was his other title? He was Deputy Minister of Defense of Canada. And he was on another show recently. Of course, many of us have heard him on other shows, but he came on recently. He's getting a bit older, but he still is very adamant. He didn't believe in UFOs or some of this conspiracy stuff until he was in government, and he saw our listeners will remember some documents, because he was in a high-level government in Canada. He saw some U.S. top-secret memos that convinced him that UFOs are real, and so this pertains to what we're talking about. And that I called him up and talked to him online. I think it was about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he is adamant that he says even solar. I just put up solar panels on solar energy, wind energy, all these alternative energies. He said they're a waste of time, because he knows that whatever powers, and he knows what powers these craft and what the ETs are using, so that they can travel distances and do all the, to us, amazing things they do technologically and otherwise, is 0-point energy. Mm-hmm. And he was he's still adamant that it's being kept from us. That's the conspiracy, because oil companies and all these other companies aside,
I agree.
Just imagine if you had no utility bills, if power, everybody just had I've been told it'd be Richard Dolan talks about a suitcase-sized unit that you just strap on your house, splice it into your hot, cold, and neutral wires, and then you don't have to rely on a company. You don't need to have utility poles. You don't need to have power outages. And how would that help the working people, Most of us, the 98%, if we didn't have to worry about how much energy, we could have unlimited energy. So that's what I've been thinking about lately.
I think Tesla mastered something like 0-point energy early on, and the government got all his research and kept it.
They've kept it from the public.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah, World War II. Hey, did you hear about the new tower that looks just like a Tesla tower that's in? I saw
that. Yeah, I saw that. And they're testing that, and maybe at some point we'll get something. Maybe they fixed it to where we'll be able to. You can't get the energy unless you purchase or rent a device to put on your house, kind of thing. Just so that the people that are making money on other sources of energy can still transition into this kind of energy kind of situation. Just thinking about it, it irks me because, Tesla wanted it for the people. He wanted it for everyone. He wasn't thinking about the money situation. Now, as you remember, we did a show on the captains of industry, and these guys were trying to make a buck off of left and right, and in Westinghouse, well, how can I make money off of this? And he was saying, it's not to make money off of it, it's to give it to the people. And it's just a shame how history, not necessarily history, but the course of history dealt Tesla. And even when I was listening to something about Marconi coming up with radio, but Marconi wasn't the original person who came up with radio.
No, he wasn't.
It was Tesla who came up with the radio.
Yeah, he used some of Tesla's ideas, and he put it together about the same time, but was found out later that Tesla actually had the concept first.
Tesla was not about money. That's why a lot of this stuff went by him. He was he was a pure scientist. And it was people like Edison, Marconi are like, hey, I can make a buck off this. They were pure capitalists.
Well, the two people that helped him and then stifled him because they saw his genius were J.P. Morgan, who, if you follow and trace the history, that's Chase Manhattan, and I'm ashamed to say I've had a Chase credit card for years. The only reason I keep it is I pay my bill off and get money back, and they hate people like me. But Chase and George Westinghouse and Edison, those three guys all knew that Tesla had a lot, just was brilliant, and they were using him to make profit. And also, in the case of Edison, ego got in the way. But that kind of, if you don't mind, I'd like to position that into the two other things that are bugging me this last month that are on my mind. And one is this 5G rollout that's coming right away, and the next. And this 5G, people say, oh, conspiracy, and you're crazy and all. But there's more research coming out. A lot of it's been suppressed. Let's start with the 5G, and then we'll get into the chemtrails later. But the 5G, apparently, I personally don't need a refrigerator or buy one that tells me when I'm out of milk. I'll look, I don't need a toaster that I can turn on my way, to work from home or something. But beyond all that is the wavelengths, the frequency of this. We already have Wi-Fi in our homes, and there have been some studies that have come out enough that in Europe, and especially I just read that in Australia, they're pulling the Wi-Fi out of schools at least. And I know that before I retired, they had just, in the San Francisco area, they were wiring all the schools. Everybody had Wi-Fi, and Salesforce, the very wealthy company, the owner, Mark, what's his name, Benikoff, Benohoff, he seems like a down-to-earth guy, and he's putting money into a lot of things. Well, one school that I worked at, he came in about 2 years ago, and he bought every classroom a computer cart with Chromebooks, with 35 Chromebooks, and you could charge them up, and it's a locked cart. Teachers are starting to design lesson plans around using the computer, and they've put these 12 by 12 by 3-inch boxes. They stick them up in the ceiling or up on the wall in each classroom, and they're Wi-Fi. Well, the Australians are beginning to say, kids are smaller, and we don't really know the long-term effect of this, but short-term, the wavelength is damaging to soft tissue, but they're talking about more than just physical damage. What about if it causes cancer and this and that? And so Australia is going back to wired. They're still keeping computers in their schools, but they're pulling out the Wi-Fi to have it hardwired. And so this 5G, back to that, this is an even smaller, as I understand it, frequency and wavelength. So it comes at you, very high speed, small, and while Wi-Fi does pass through some walls and all, they say this 5G, it it goes through everything. I mean, not just your body, but it goes through walls and thick concrete.
Well, you heard
and you're
about
not shielded.
the birds that fell from the sky in the area they were testing 5G.
And I was just having a conversation on this very thing with Solana. I think it was earlier today, and about how I can't remember where it was at, but it was the city that was putting in these cell towers at fire stations, and so the city decided to ban these towers because the effects that these towers were having on the men at the fire station, complaining of headaches, complaining of different ailments related that can be caused by the 5G setups of these towers. And so, I totally understand where you're coming from, and this is all a part of the big plan to get the whole nation running with high speed, but when you're dealing with a city, it's so concentrated with all the Wi-Fi and cell towers, and it just, you're being nuked any which way you go, and this 5G thing, on one end, sounds a little scary, and it is a cause for concern because people are having issues related to
birds are having issues.
Yeah,
too.
Birds. Animal. It should be like the canary in the mine shaft. You know what I'm saying, Dino? Where if you see animals being affected, it's kind of like the big thing when dolphins were washing up on shore and they couldn't figure it out, and come to find out it was some kind of Navy testing some kind of sonic device underwater. And,
ultra low frequency.
Yes.
Right.
And so, when animals start to be affected in that way, we should take notice. And we see it so many different times, whether it be birds falling from the sky or animals washing up on shore, or even genetic defects that we might see in our animals that come along. It should be a red flag for all of us.
Well, and not only that, I don't have proof, but people are talking about difficulty in sleep deprivation. Now, I don't know if that's partly my aging process, but sometimes I'm not sleeping as well as I did for years, You might be tired when you wake up, but I remember sleeping all night and not rolling over. And now almost everybody I know talks about having restless sleep. Well, could some of that be related to Wi-Fi and then 5G? And 5G sounds to me like I could see benefits of having cell phones when they first came out, and I could see other benefits. But 5G, it just seems to me that it's all about profit and control. I have enough electronic stuff. I love some of my electronic stuff. I love my stereo. I'm still an old school, and I have a beautiful Yamaha stereo system. And I love that, but I can turn that off, I love my FM radio receiver, although where I live now I don't get FM like I did when I lived right in town. But, again, you could turn that off. But, like, Wi-Fi is on 24/7. These cell towers that I used to think, people are just being nervous about it, they're not in my backyard. But as the years go on, and knowing what most of us know, that all corporations cannot be trusted, even if they say they're good and they give, $100,000 this year to a homeless shelter or something. That's great. Everybody should do service to their community. But we know that the driving force for all corporations is to do what, people?
To make a profit.
A profit.
So
if anything gets in the way of that,
that's all they're doing when they're spending this money, Dino, on causes like that, is it's an image thing,
goodwill.
Goodwill. There could be evil behind goodwill.
Well, it's okay if you have goodwill. If you're making a lot of profit, you can afford it. Think about it. You can afford to kick some money to the side here. It's just a small part of your operating expenses, That's the thing. I don't want to be a naysayer all the time, but it seems like the last several years, as many of us that are trying to be awake and learn from not just media news sources that we've talked about are owned by In the entire world, there are about 12 different corporations that control all media, newspaper, magazines, print, radio, television. So, yeah, some of them are more independent than others, but many of us are trying to look behind the curtain and see what other information that the main media sources don't think that the general public really needs to know. I don't want that decision to be made. We've had this discussion. I'm a student of government, and I think that one of the few good things left in America, I don't want to put my country down, but is that we supposedly have this fourth estate, which is supposed to be media, that's supposed to tell us when government's wrong. And right now, we have some people in government, in our federal government especially, that get mad at media and start berating media instead of answering the question.
Well, here's my thing on that. Jim Acosta, I think, is a bully, and the way he handled himself in the press room, I think, was unwarranted. I mean, there is a time that we need to face our officials and they get the truth out of them. And every time Jim, there was a time that I actually watched CNN for news. I mean, I still watch CNN to get the other point of view, but at the end of the day, I really, it's that hope in me that that people are going to do the right thing, and it's hard for me to watch CNN for them to do the right thing, and so.
Aren't any of them doing the right thing, though?
No, all the media, they're all bloodthirsty, and despite the fact whatever you want to say when it comes to Trump, I can respect whatever you want to say about him. But at the end of the day, he is the president. We may not agree, like, for example, when that thing happened in the White House recently with him and Schumer and Pelosi sitting down about the border, about the wall, and I guess he kind of put them on the spot because I guess the government's going to shut down. And at the end of the day, when the government shuts down, it's not going to be the whole government. And this is what really gets me. What people don't understand is when the government shuts down, it's only going to be like Homeland Security that gets shut down, and so. It's not like they're shutting down.
Well, in the past, I just want to say, in the past, I had jobs that I required a government check, and one time many years ago, something like that happened. It was a state government, but we didn't get a check for about 10 days until they worked it out, and that was a real hardship. But it's, media is one thing, but I do have to agree, getting on to chemtrails and UFOs, that it does bother me when someone has had a legitimate experience. They know what they've seen, be it a chemtrail, they have video of it, some kind of anomaly that cannot be explained by the Air Force or anybody's talking about it. And it still bothers me that some media, when they even, mainstream media bothers to report it, they snicker or make, before they report the story, locally someone saw a triangle in Phoenix, they have to make some
kind of joke
that
out of it,
puts it down or ridicules it,
right.
Before, instead of taking the story for what it is. Their job is to report and to ask pointed questions, not to say, what were you drinking,
or there goes those 10 foil hat people again, claiming this and that.
Or it's Halloween, so I guess this is going on, or playing the X-Files theme music before they report it, This is ridicule, and this is not their job. So recently, I know our good friend Dave Cruz corroborated about 3 weeks ago when we had these horrible fires in California.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was horrible. I used to have asthma as a kid, and I was not going outside. It ruined about a week. I had some things to do outside. I couldn't go. I found that I had one of those masks in my garage, so I was able to go out and get groceries. But it was a pain, and it was depressing. And at any rate, a day afterwards, after the rain came and we had blue skies the next day, and I was breathing deep. It took me, by the way, at least a week of coughing up stuff. It went deep in people's lungs. And I don't know how people...
Wait, there was
smoke,
rain in
anyway.
California?
Yeah, it's been a couple of times.
Wow.
But at any rate, the two fires, a friend of mine lost his weekend home up in Paradise. It's totally gone. He'd been working on it for 10 years. But at any rate, the day after the rain, and then we had a day of rain, and then we had a sunny, blue sky day, even though it's winter, and everybody was going great. And about the middle of the day, I went out on my deck, and sure enough, there were jet planes. And I live not far from a major international airport, but the planes are pretty high, and I know how they look. And I'm telling you, most of the time, there's nothing, no exhaust, no, and we're not talking C-O-N trails that just real quickly at high speed, the tip of a wing will make it and it'll disappear. There were jets coming from every direction at a very high altitude, making like X's in the sky. It was very evident. And at the same time, Dave Cruz, I'm friends with him on Facebook, and he posted some pictures. He saw the same thing I did, and he lives maybe about 40 miles north of me,
Mm-hmm.
So that bothers me that this goes on all the time, and most of the media doesn't report it. The weathermen, I've been told certain weathermen know that something's happening, but they're not supposed to talk about it during the weather report. Cuts of clouds coming out that they've never seen when they went to meteorology school, and there's all, look at the different shapes and things, and look at the sky compared to 40 years ago. That's all. That's been upsetting me lately too, that we just had all this pollution and from the fires, and it traveled hundreds of miles, and it was affecting people's health, and then the 24 hours later, after the sky clears out, they're spraying it again, and then it's supposedly been admitted now a few places that, we're thinking about global warming. So, we didn't vote on this, but apparently, we're going to try some experiments. Mm-hmm. Baloney. They've been doing it for years.
Right.
For years.
You bring up people reporting on stuff like this. You kind of wish you had more reporters like George Knapp that put out that information.
Yeah.
And I bring him up because there's a new documentary that's supposed to be coming out, I guess, next Tuesday about Bob Lazar. Have you heard anything about this?
This is new stuff, not the movie that Lear, what's his name? Jeffrey, what's his
Jeremy,
name? Not that movie?
Jeremy. Yeah, Cobell, or I get his name wrong.
Cobell, sorry, I don't know. Yeah, I was thinking John Lear.
Yeah, this is the one he just produced. He got with George Knapp and picked his brain and went through some of his documentation, and it's new stuff, just fascinating things. And I know we're up against a rock and a hard place right now with our time now, Dino. So can you hold on while we go to a break?
I can hold on tonight. I have nothing to do.
Okay, let's hold on.
I have a sad life right now.
We'll chat up a little bit more about this Bob Lazar thing, and when we come back, more with Dino.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
The epic battle begins this Friday. Direct from ringside at Laser Death Melt and Bot vs. Bot in Galaxy's 2-ton weight championship, where your challenger, Good Bot, will face the reigning champion, Bad Bot.
You're terminated.
Reserve seating starting at $30. 2-drink minimum, where ladies don't get in free. This is an SBU production.
You're listening to Space Boy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just gave Sir Lana some bad news, but we're moving on, and we still have Dino on the phone. You still with us, Dino?
I am.
Good. It's been nice catching up with you, and so, before the break, I was mentioning about this new video that director Jeremy Corbell has directed, and it's a film by him, too. He got with the likes of Bob Lazar, George Knapp, to say the few, but it really kind of goes back to Bob Lazar. What are some of your recollections or memories of Bob Lazar?
He was definitely one of our in modern ufology, and probably one of the more modern what should I say, icons you go back to, because there was, like so much of the information we seem to get nowadays, there is controversy. People bring up good questions. People bring up silly questions. Some people are not willing to even question. They just ridicule. I understand that this new Corbell thing, I watched like an hour thing on Facebook the day it came out. It was the premiere, and they didn't show the film, but they showed Corbell in front of the audience who was about to view the new film, and he brought up certain things, and he did have a few excerpts that he talked about. Having not seen the film, from what I understand from people who have seen it, that it's not bad, but that people who have been into these topics for many years, there's really nothing new for them. Maybe one or two issues that were more evidence that he did work undercover at one of the secret areas there out in Nevada. But other than that, there were no great revelations, is what I had heard. I mean, he didn't come out and say the things we wanted him to say, beyond that, or why he was quiet for so long, or is someone leaning on you from the government? That's what I wanted to hear.
I think when it comes to Bob Lazar, from what I've seen, is that he just really he doesn't care. He just to him, this is just old hat information. But what I like about this new documentary, Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers, is it brings it to I guess what has it been 25 years since we first learned of Bob Lazar. So you're talking about people that, let's just say that you're 25 now. Then when this information came out 25 years ago, you were just born. So it gives people a chance to redigest his story and why is Area 51 such a popular, why is it so popular in mythos of UFO or ufology now? So that's what I like about it. I mean, sure, somebody like yourself and myself, we've digested this information years ago, and so this documentary might just be a rehash of a lot of the stuff we already know, but I think it's great that this information is brought back up and repackaged for a new generation to digest and say, hey, look, here's an account of somebody who worked out here, and the government tried to what do you call it when they try to take you out of the equation, meaning erasing your history. Yeah. So, he had a pay stub and other things, but then, when he said he went to MIT, they couldn't find any records of him being at MIT. But, so many, you could think probably the X-Files for this were erasing, the past of somebody to prove them to be a liar. And of course, other stories that, where we've heard where the government has come in and said, and just, if you talk, we're going to put the screws to you kind of situation. What do you think, Solana?
I'm trying to get some relevant information.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'd have to say that you may be right about that, because we need to constantly educate people, because new people are learning new things every day, depending on where they were in life or their age. But you know what I think, from a common sense standpoint, from someone who's looked at a lot of these, that Area 51, yeah, you got to learn about why it's the issue and why did the government deny its existence for so long until it got on mainstream media, and then they admitted it. They don't admit everything that goes on there. They just say, oh, we do secret stuff. But I think common sense would tell you anything that's like really off-world or undercover, I think it's been moved to other discrete locations that no one knows about, because
I
over
read
20 years now.
You're right. I'd read somebody somewhere that said, maybe it was from the Day After Roswell book, that anything that's of any significance, important, that's top secret, that we really don't want anyone, even on our own planet, to find about, is either underground or way up in space. Like literally under the ground. Yeah.
Yeah, or there are underground bases. Many people who have worked, I mean, Jesse Ventura is a famous one, who said he knew we had bases, and he's someone that I trust. I know some people don't like him, but I think that he has a background that we know he's fortitude and honesty. He was a SEAL. He knew demolitions. So when he tells me things, whether it's 9/11, something's fishy about it, or that we have bases, I mean, that's true. And I've read books. I read David Sauter's 2 books several years ago, and I know lately, about a year or 2 ago, he was on a show and he sounded kind of spaced out. He was just wanted to talk about ayahuasca. But that aside, the guy's a PhD, and he did research, I think 20 years ago, and I saw some of the documents he put in his books, and we have technology that's beyond what they're telling us, where they can just melt these tunnels. Stargate SG-1, I'm going, who advised those guys? They've been doing reruns now on this one sci-fi channel, and that was made, 15 years ago? And I look at all this stuff and I go, everything. They talk about aliens, they talk about underground bases, they talk about the secret space program, and that's, what we hear about now, and all this stuff. I'm not a friend of some of these people, but the lunar landers and the Mars landers, about how apparently we've been lied to for years. The sky is blue on Mars, and there are people doctoring video from it about objects, and then we see these blurry pictures, and you're telling me that that's our best space technology? I know they have cameras that are better than 4K, and yet we only see this crummy, blurry pictures from the moon and blurry pictures from Mars.
Is this thing out yet?
There's something being hidden.
What's that?
She was asking if the thing is out, the Bob Lazar video, it's out. It's in our library.
Yeah.
Well, it says, I'm looking at a site here that kind of criticizes it, saying, claiming, he worked with alien technology and that the government's hiding from us. And this site says there's a lot of baggage to Lazar, including evidence he lied about his education, roles in a prostitution ring, and lawsuits for illegally smuggling banned chemicals. I had not heard those, but a fair and honest documentary about him would be a fascinating story. How many people can create a popular myth, become chemical smugglers, aid a prostitution ring, and claim the government is hiding alien technology? But they're saying that this film is far from a fair or honest documentary. And it goes on to say it's trying to alienate an audience, and I mean, this thing goes on. So I haven't seen it.
I think we need to watch it to draw our own conclusions.
Yeah, I gotta watch it.
But going back to what Dino's saying, here's my beef with NASA. And, recently we landed another probe on Mars. And here's what gets me is that we're sending probes to let's send it to this crater. I want to send it to where the controversy is on Mars. And when I say that,
I'm not going to show you that.
I want to send it to where all the research that Richard Hoagland's done on Mars in the Cydonia region. I mean, those are something that I would love to see explored. Even if they're saying, "Oh, this is fake" and all that, NASA will put the probe there. let's see what's going on there and just put this to bed once and for
You know
all.
what's going to have to happen is someone like Musk is going to have to go rogue, launch it without anybody knowing it, and just go there and do it live via satellite, and so we can watch it.
Yes, exactly. I agree with you 100%. This is what kind of research, and all the different probes and things we've had on Mars, and they're just starting to put stuff to say, oh, we're going to look for life forms. I mean, it's like there were other experiments on board they never told us about, and we don't know. It's like the X-38, the secret mini unmanned space shuttle that they put up and stays up for 3 years.
Right.
They don't tell us, it's our tax money, but they don't tell us what it's doing. It's got to be putting out technology that they don't tell us about. And who knows? They say it orbits. I don't know. Maybe it takes off and flies to the moon and supplies moon bases. We can't watch what's going on.
Right.
Oh, no, that's definitely right. And that brings to mind, you're looking for this secrecy and what's going on. Antarctica, this has become a big deal in the last couple of years, and we hear people buzzing about it. But we do have one friend, and I'm not sure if he's a friend of your show, but a friend of other shows, and until recently lived not far from me, and Brad Olson. And Brad Olson and his companion left last month. They're headed for Antarctica. And he says, by hook or crook, they're now in South America. He's been sending on his Facebook pictures. They were at Machu Picchu, and apparently that nice gentleman, the little guy with the long hair, Nassim, who's a very brilliant guy who talks about numbers and things. He's been at some expos I've been at. What's his, Nassim Harriman, I think it is. And he was down there. He was Brad was interviewing him with his iPhone the other day, talking about Machu Picchu, and that there's the technology, must have been some kind of resonance, and it could melt rock into a plaster form, and that's how they did the pyramids probably too, but it definitely in South America, that's how these stones can fit so perfectly. And so Brad is on his way to the tip, and then he has made arrangements with someone that's going to take him on to Antarctica. Did you know? I did not know till Brad told me that you need to get permission to go to Antarctica, even if you're a tourist. It's like, and it's supposed to be this international continent, but if you look at maps of it, France has staked out an area, Russia has an area, Germany has an area, United States, and they all have their bases and their supposed areas of operation. What's up with that? Why are they so interested down there? Yeah, maybe there's some minerals, but it makes you wonder in the context of what we're speaking about, what is being hidden down there as well. So, that's another mystery that I would like to see some truth come out about. Like Stanton Friedman, he's always been on, Bob Lazar and all, and it hurts me because Stanton was in that same position 40, 50 years ago when he was trying to expose the Roswell crash, And, there are some people that I don't believe in the current ufology and conspiracy, but even the cryptids, I used to think, it was kind of interesting about Bigfoot, and now I think I believe in them. I have not seen one myself. That's the 1% I don't know, but I've met too many people and heard too many stories from too many areas, not just the Pacific Southwest. So this all fits into what are we really being told, and why are we being hidden truths and facts?
Well, I know the why, because once we find out our government and other governments have lied to us, then it unravels everything. What else have they lied about us? Then that we know that we can't trust them, and we'll find out all the stuff that they've allowed maybe other entities to do to us without any remorse or moral, thoughts. We'll find out just how corrupt and evil they are, and maybe we would actually rise up against them, and they don't want that. They like things in control where they are, where they have all the power and all the money, and that's the way things are going to stay.
Well, it's kind of like...
I think you may be right.
I am right. You can take that to the bank.
Ooh, slam down. Anyway, so it was kind of like I was going to bring up with the JFK papers that were supposed to be released, but they were redacted because there were still people living. And, a lot of people believe that George Walker Bush, the senior,
that just passed away.
And
I got the day off for that.
Was one of the main reasons why a lot of things were redacted and why all the papers probably didn't come out, because he was still alive. Because, he was a part of all the... there's a lot of interesting... We could do a show on that.
What?
About...
Oh, yeah. He then became a head of the CIA. No, you may be right on all that, but also I would add, in addition to why this is all being hidden from us, is the corporations. I still, I'm backing off from governments all being bad. Yeah, they're bad, but I think they're all controlled by multinational corporations.
Well, that's the same thing, Dino. It's greed. It's money and profit. It's greed and profit. It don't matter who it is. It's corporation, the government. It's control. Whoever's got the most toys, the most money is in control, and that gets them everything they want in their life to be satisfied, and so they're going to keep it. It's
kind of like, I wish they would outlaw lobbying in the Congress and things like that.
I think greed is deep in our DNA, and we can't get it out unless our gene is altered.
Well, going back what I was saying is the lobbyist, I think, really corrupts our representation because, they dangle the carrot in front of these people, and some of them, if they're unscrupulous as it is, will take that carrot, and they may be willing to vote one way, but then change their vote another way because they get their palms greased with that money.
It's money. It makes the world go round.
Well, Sirlana said the key word. It's control. Control gives you everything. Control can make you more profit because you're controlling things. Whether you're a corporate person, control can be, hey, I kind of enjoy being in the House of Representatives or a senator or a governor, and that has always upset me immensely, that people become career politicians. Yeah, when there's a guy you like or a woman you like and they've done some good legislation, you're very happy. But the point is, they're supposed to be representatives, and I used to be against term limits, but I think in what's left of any kind of a democratic process, and of course we're a republic, a democratic republic, but you need to have turnover of who the leaders are. And sometimes you get bad, and sometimes you get better ones. But to keep someone in power, there's the control. And once you have control, you can make profit. And it's laziness. Not everybody. It's part of all of us, but some people, maybe because of the way I was raised or my constitution, I'm not overly lazy. But you get lazy because when you have control, Sirlana's point, then you don't have to do as much to maintain whatever you like about your lifestyle because you're in control. And no offense to anybody, but you get lazy and fat because you're not having to get out there and hustle. And when you're a politician, I mean, I may have liked some things, for example, Nancy Pelosi did, or Dianne Feinstein. I don't like everything, but I'm saying, come on, when you've been in office over 20 years and you're older than me, and again, this is ageism, but the people that are coming up are the ones that are going to have to live with a lot of the legislation you're going to put forward, and that's why we got to have term limits and this rotating of, going from one office to another to another. I mean, it's just the one time I ran for office at the city level was because I was fed up with that, because I knew what I could do for my city, but the people that I were running against, half of them weren't even from there. They moved in 3 years ago, got in with the right people, and they said, we'll give you money so you get elected, and that's why they do, and that's why bad laws are made, and that's why greed can be maintained.
Indeed.
He just made my point for me.
There you go.
Exactly. I wanted to... Exactly.
All right, Dino.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. So look, keep your eyes up, be vigilant. And being vigilant doesn't mean just looking. It means sometimes you might have to take action, and action might be a little uncomfortable. But right now,
who do I have to punch, Dino?
Well, yeah, but if we're punching each other, guess who's in control? They love when we fight. It's okay to demonstrate once in a while on the street if you've tried everything else. But younger people sometimes, they just want to go out and demonstrate all the time. And, you know, the people in power, many times, they sit there and laugh at that. They go, great, they're out in the street. A couple of them are going to get shot. Some will get arrested. Even if they get kicked out a few years down the road, they'll have a record, so we don't have to hire them. You know, it makes sure that when you protest, you have a goal in mind. Like in France now, in Paris, it sounds like there's some good things. They started off about fuel tax, but then there are other things, and now it's coming out. Yeah, people can't live there and blah, blah. But then you've already done it. Why are you still in the street? Now do something with that attention that you have on the topic. So let's not fight each other so much, even if we disagree, and let's put it toward the people who are really controlling us. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it for tonight.
All right. There you go, everybody. Dino.
All right. You guys have a wonderful weekend. Hello, cadets. Be talking to you soon.
All right, and I'll be looking for our call so we can talk.
Okay.
Good night.
Okay, good evening. All.
Good night, Dina.
Bye.
All right. That was a good conversation with Dina.
Yeah, it's almost like the filler that we
got a mini show out of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you know
the Muffin Man
that Starbucks is trying to use Uber Eats to expand deliveries because they're trying to reignite their growth? I didn't think they had a problem with growth, but apparently they do.
Well, when you're on every street corner and in everyone's bathroom,
like
you know.
Hooker.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, they're trying to spark sales growth in their home market through delivery to more than 2,000 U.S. locations in 2019. They have a partnership with Uber Eats, which I guess maybe I've seen it, but I'm just like, here's what I'm saying. You get on Uber Eats and you order a Frappuccino, which is sort of a frozen ice creamy drink. How does it get to your house without melting? How does coffee come to you and it's still hot? It just doesn't seem like a viable thing to me. I mean, unless you're literally having it, the Starbucks is next door to your house or something.
Well, haven't you ordered something like a drink from?
Yeah, it's watery and messed up.
Well, I mean.
Yeah, from like a fast food place. I don't bother.
It's
crappy.
I've not had that problem with ordering drinks from wherever.
Well, they've started this to try to increase the popularity of takeout and delivery. Uber Eats tied in with Starbucks. So it was like, you shake my hand, I'll shake yours. They're both trying to profit. Like, hey, we got Starbucks. Don't you want to use this? And Starbucks like, hey, we're on Uber Eats. You can access us now. So what's funny is there's apps like McDonald's and Sonic, and I'm sure there's others that, like, if you download their app and you order from the app to go pick it up at the restaurant, you'll get like half off your order. Sonic is like that. You can get happy hour drinks priced half price anytime if you order it on the app and go pick it up. So they're like, get out there and burn some gas and carbons and we'll reward you for it. One way or another, somebody's getting in a car and bringing it to you, or you're going to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think Starbucks had problems, Apparently do.
Well, I do like the fact that, if you download, we have the McDonald's app because we go there occasionally, and you can place your order on the app. And then another thing I like about our McDonald's is they've got the big kiosk where you don't have to go to a cashier.
Yeah, some of them you can walk right in, go up to the kiosk and tap, 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 get your order, get your little number, and then you go over there and get it, or they bring it to you. And you don't have to even look at another human being in the face at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure they love that too.
Yeah.
They don't want to talk to you either any more than you want to talk to them.
Well, I guess they're worried that they're, these people trying to get more money for salary.
Well, is that it? Or now I clicked off this, but there was this article that's saying that Walmart is going to be having what they call robo fryers or something like that. And they're talking about what fried foods do they do? I forget that some Walmarts you go in, they have like their little deli area. There's like, you can actually get hot food.
Hot food at
so
Walmart.
somebody has to make that food or fry it or, thaw it out. And
so what they're thinking about getting robots?
Getting rid of the people who do that, and they're going to make robots come in and automatically fry the little chicken nuggets, and they're going to automate it with AI and robotic equipment. And I'm like, can we get that on every cashier line?
I knew you were going to say that.
No one has to work there. No one has to make minimum wage. No one has to be treated crappily.
At the end of the day, I don't want them to
fully robotic.
I don't want them to take away self-service checkout.
No. Keep self-service. Maybe have one manager there just to keep an eye on it, but they don't have to actually do anything until something happens. And the rest of it's just all robots. Even the customer service that you go to return stuff, and if you don't do it right, they get to beat you over the head.
Well, I was just thinking the Amazon thing, the Amazon Go stores.
Yeah, they're completely.
I don't think you could do that at a
staffless.
Walmart because of security reasons. But
well, Amazon Go, you can't even walk in there unless you have an account ready and set up with payment tied to it. Because you just go in there and you just scan an item, and then it gets paid for with however you've already got it set up on the web. So, and there's nobody in there. There's nobody at a cashier. So with Walmart could do the same thing if they had a small store like that, where they could really super control things, But not a super Walmart. No, they couldn't do that. It's too big, it's too much.
I will say that the upside now, we've talked about curbside services for fast food. Mm-hmm. Walmart has curbside now too, and they've got lockers that you can go.
I want to test that.
Go pick up. If you order something, they put it in these lockers, and you tell the customer service rep, "Hey, I've got something in my locker."
No, you don't have to tell them. You walk over there to a little digital board and do.
I did see that. So, but I mean, on that.
I love that. This is what I like about the future. I love that we're taking out all physical interaction with other humans. That is my dream. Don't look at me. Don't talk to me. Don't come near me. I love that. Let's make this happen.
See, I'm surprised Amazon doesn't start opening hard stores.
They're doing it. They did one in Seattle just now.
Where you have the curbside thing. You place an order and you say, "Okay, I'm here to pick up my stuff," and
we have that in reverse with Amazon Go,
where they deliver it. I mean, that's not too bad.
2 hours to get a product, and we just happen to be really conveniently super close to a depot warehouse for Amazon.
Yeah, it's not far
at
all.
It's not. We've actually tracked them, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
On the phone, we saw where they started.
Actually, the Amazon Go was the first kind of thing like we've seen that is similar to. Uber Go.
It's like,
Fetch.
I want a bag of Snickers, but I don't want to have to leave the house to get it. Well, then, if you want to pay a little exorbitant amount in taxes
a fee,
and delivery,
a delivery fee,
and they'll bring it to you in 2 hours. But by then, I could have slaughtered this entire family. But yeah, do we need to go to a break? Or?
Oh, we sure do. Let me roll that famous bean footage.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Greetings, Space Cadets. Let's see what's in the sky tonight in the Spaceboy Universe. Tonight, in the eastern sky, we have Spaceboy Universe rising above the horizon in glorious splendor. And in the west, we can see Solanus Majoris, which is visible at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, just below the K-28 belt. So keep your eyes on the sky and listen to Spaceboy Universe.
I'm Solaris Blue Ribbon, and I'm listening to Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Space Boy Universe. Here are your hosts, Space Boy and Sir Lana.
Hey there, Space Boy person.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah. Did you know there's an epidemic in this town?
And it starts with P, or starts with T, which rhymes with P, which stands for pool?
Well, Houston has a loose spool epidemic. That's loose spool, not loose stool. Apparently, you know those big, round, wooden spools that they put cable on, you know?
Don't tell me a truck lost them.
Well, this is not, I mean, it's not like it happened one time. This is the fourth time it's happened, I think, this year. So yesterday, on December 14th, a giant wooden spool got loose on a busy road for the fourth time since October, forcing drivers to think fast and get out of its path. There's a Twitter. It's on Twitter. It's a photo.
Mm-hmm.
Giant spool blocking lanes near West Little York and North Beltway 8. It was this Thursday. The driver who snapped the photo said the spool collided with a blue truck. The family was okay. It occurred 1 week after an even larger spool came loose in traffic on South Loop.
Those things aren't tiny.
Two spools got loose on... I don't know why I'm laughing at this. Two spools got loose on I-10 near the Wayside on November 12th, and the first spool rolled free in the same area on October 25th. And what's funny is this is from a national site I'm on. This isn't even like a local site I'm looking at. I don't know why that's funny to me. Anyway, another bizarre news that makes no sense. Thousands of people are watching this boring live stream from Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and nobody knows why. Oh, we may have a caller. It might be our marriage counselor. Let's see. Caller, are you there?
Yes, I am. I am your marriage counselor.
Oh, we need so much counseling. Oh, God.
Oh, boy. Okay, start from the beginning.
Well...
and we will try to work through
Actually,
it.
Excuse me, I'm hitting the mic. Actually, today, I don't know that I've had that much interaction with him, so it's been a good day, and I even hugged his... he was sitting down in his chair, and I went over to hug his head and squeezed it. I said, hey, I like you today. And he had no reaction to that whatsoever, so.
I wasn't buying it.
He said he didn't believe me.
I wasn't. No, what you should have said is, okay, what do you want, honey? No, just kidding. Just kidding.
I just told him during the break what I want for Christmas, and I put a link to it on my Facebook wall. It's a $25 bottle of liquor.
Oh, wow.
Crown Royal salted caramel whiskey.
That's so she can forget about me until she gets to the bottom of the bottle.
I love caramel, but I like. That sounds good.
Yep. I've not tried it yet, but it sounds good. It can't be that bad. I've had Crown Royal before. It was perfectly fine.
Yeah. It's a little on the expensive side, but it's good.
Smooth.
I hear Bob laughing in the background.
Yeah, he's laughing.
So, how have you been, Bev?
Oh, not too bad. Still alive and all that.
Is it cold in Ohio?
I won't say kicking because I can't kick like I used to, huh?
Is it cold in Ohio?
Yeah, it's cold.
It's
cold.
How deep is the snow, if you have any?
You know, we don't have any snow.
Wow.
And we're supposed to have a green Christmas this year.
That's sad.
We've only ever had green or brown Christmases because everything's dead, but we've never had a white Christmas. My whole life, never had one.
It was that 1 year where it snowed, and we went out to eat at Papa's, and it just started to snow.
I remember.
That was.
I remember hearing that on the news. It's like snow in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Something biblical was going on.
That's why when you and Bob posted the same thing about the snow fight thing, and I was saying, not here in Texas.
Yeah.
It reminds me of speaking of snow, it reminds me of a story once where my stepfather was trying to throw snowballs at me when I was living in San Antonio. It had, totally dumped so much snow that it closed down the freeways. And
oh, wow.
My stepdad got mad at me because I ducked at the last minute, and he threw a snowball and it went into somebody's apartment and it busted the glass. And his words were,
no.
And he said, "Why did you duck?" I said, "Because I didn't want to get hit."
Duh.
Hello.
And I was like, "Why'd you put that rock?"
Why do you think, Dad?
Why'd you put that rock in there?
I was gonna say that must have been a pretty packed snowball.
Mm-hmm. It was like I felt bad because they were our neighbors, and I could only imagine being inside the house and all of a sudden glass goes everywhere and a snowball comes in and.
Oh.
But it was like he felt bad about it, but he was trying to pass the buck off onto me, like it was my fault. Like, don't blame that on me.
What a jerk.
So did he pay for the window?
I think building maintenance came over and fixed it, and so he got out lucky.
Oh, it was an apartment complex?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did get lucky then, didn't he?
But speaking of being snowed in, it was a wonderful time because I went on top of the freeway and jumped off, and that's how the freeway, it was that deep. The snow was that deep, and it was a good holiday that year because my mom hooked me up with some Crown Royal and 7-Up.
7-7.
Yeah, to kind of warm me up. I was about 14 at the time, so drinking alcohol.
Oh, I'll never forget the blizzard of '78 here. Oh my God!
Was that the year that Robert was accused of being the Bigfoot or Abominable Snowman?
I don't know. We didn't even know each other then.
You might want to check your news reports from that time period.
Yeah. Of course, he does have big feet. He wears size 13s.
I'm not even going to ask the other question on that one.
Huh?
Don't worry about it, Bev.
Okay, well. Okay.
I'm not even going to try to save him. Nope.
Space Boy. I think, Space Boy, you got your mind in the gutter, don't you?
I am not going to answer that.
Gutter Boy.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Every day that I wake up, yes.
Oh, please.
Oh, God. But so how's the weather out there?
It's 47 right now.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. We're down in the 20s.
Oh, I wish we had the 20s here.
Man, maybe we could actually feel it in the house.
There was a few nights ago, man, it was cold, and I was like,
perfect.
God, I was like freezing to death.
Yeah, but when we're tucked up in bed, it's the best time to be cold.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah. I sit around with my sweats and a shirt on, and then I have they call it coat-length sweater that my mom gave me before she passed. Mm-hmm. And boy, that thing is nice and warm. I sit around in that.
Can't imagine being that cold.
It's warm.
I try to.
Oh, it gets cold.
I try to wrap myself up like a burrito and then stick my head under and let let my breath kind of warm up.
It starts out like that. It starts out you get your covers, all your stuff put on you. Like, okay, this is it. This is the optimal level of comfort and warmth. And then 2 or 3 hours go by, and I'm like, I am sweating. The bed's wet because I just every fluid. It's just like I'm like,
because you didn't want to get up and go to the restroom. And
no, it's just like something happens. My body it's like, okay, this is too hot now. So, and then I stay hot all night.
Well, you can't blame me.
Oh, wow.
It's got to be your fault.
Now, see, what I do is with my CPAP machine, with my mask on, I'll cover my head completely up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I stay warm.
No, that's me. I get it to where I'm nice and toasty underneath the blanket, and then I'll periodically
imagine if
sticking my head
somebody
out
came
just so
into
I can
our
breathe.
room and they would see these 2 lumps completely covered head to toe, like we wrapped up like we're cult members or something.
Yeah.
Now, Bob, he tends to get hot at night.
Well,
Not me.
I imagine with a size 13 shoe.
Yeah. Jeez. I always tell him just take the boxes and leave the shoes. It'd be cheaper. I always tell him he's got skis for feet. Of course, he has always called me Stubbs ever since we met. Because I'm so short. I'm only 5'1".
I'm barely taller than that, 5'2", so it's not a problem.
Well, I was 5'2 and a quarter. But I lost an
It
inch
sounds
and
like
a
you're
quarter.
reaching there.
Yeah. And now I have to get Bob to come out in the kitchen and get almost everything out of the cupboard for me. I have to stand on my tippy toes.
We get around that by just not putting stuff that high up in the first place. So,
well, we can't really help it because our cupboards are up high. I can barely reach the second shelf of them.
So do y'all have plans for Christmas this year?
Oh, we go over to his brother's house on Christmas and celebrate with him and his wife and kids and his mom and the grandkids.
Nice.
I like to watch kids open up their presents. Fun.
I was there asking me in chat, Bev. Miss Michelle just came in chat. She was asking you and me, well, we could do Christmas this year, and I said, well, no. It's been about 4 to 5 years since we've had a tree. We just don't have the spirit. There's nowhere to put it because our house is just trashed. We're not feeling it. Financially, it's not really feasible right now. And she says, not even mistletoe. I said, no holiday stuff whatsoever. I said, no holiday music because that draws me at the wall. You want to make me turn violent? Put on some Christmas music. And I don't mean religious. I just mean any holiday music. Just can't take it.
There's a channel here in Houston that plays nonstop Christmas music during this time of the year, and it's like, I cannot, I can't take it anymore. It's like I just don't want to hear it anymore. Everybody's asking me like, so you got plans for this Christmas? Well, I kind of do.
Yeah.
But
they're not with each other though. We don't have plans together. If it weren't for other people, we would probably just stay home and be just another day that we have a day off or something together. But wouldn't be anything Christmassy about it. But I am going to participate in year 3 of Cajun Catfish Christmas, which I hijacked. My friend's Leanne's family, her husband, her teenage son, and her mother. I just hijacked her family and said, I'm using your family and I'm going to start a new tradition. And here's what I want. I said, I want catfish. I want hush puppies. I want this. I want that. And I want that. And her husband, who's a fantastic cook, they both are, he said, that is a fantastic idea. And so this started 2 years ago and they're having it again and they absolutely love it. And it's all because of me. And I told her, I said, you listen to me. You tell your husband he is not allowed to invite anyone, even family members, to this because this is my tradition and I don't want strangers at my holiday party because that's just weird and wrong. So they said, well, my brother might be coming. I said, no. Well, they can go sit at Starbucks or something while we're having. So, I won't allow anyone extraneous at these things. And it's not even my house or my family. So
here's the question. I'm tired of people asking me, and my reply to it will be, is that you ready for Christmas?
Nope.
And my reply is, I'm ready for it to be over. And it's always interesting to see people like look at me like, what's going on here, And I just, I'm just tired for it to be over. Jean, Jean asked.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, Jean asked how my sister's doing. She's doing okay. I haven't talked to her recently, but she's up there in Dallas, and I'll probably get to see her at Christmas time. So I mean,
your other sister's down yonder.
Yeah, Marcy's down here around Houston, and
I have no clue about my sister.
How many sisters do you have?
I have 2 sisters. Well, actually, I kind of have a third sister. It's complicated, but she'll be there too as well. But
you got some by blood and some by marriage.
Exactly, some by blood and some by marriage. That's a perfect way of saying it.
And Bob's family's complicated too. He had a nephew brother, so.
That is complicated. That's like my mom's family.
His sister was young when she got pregnant for her one boy, so their dad and Bob's stepmom adopted him. So it was his nephew, then came his brother.
That's complicated.
I think Bob says it best when he says "Festivus for the rest of us." A little Seinfeld reference there.
I don't know how I got so anti-holiday.
You know what I hate? Well, you know what I hate about Christmas? I mean, I love Christmas, but what I hate is they start selling, start putting Christmas stuff out in the stores in October.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't
like
that.
It's like they totally skip Thanksgiving.
It should be.
Well, I can assure you, I do not skip Thanksgiving. One way or another, I have a little turkey with the cranberry jelly and all the other fixings.
So I had to go up to where Leanne lives and get a turkey, Cajun fried by her husband, and bring it home. I paid her to get the turkey, and I brought it back home, and that's when I laid down the law and said, when I come back here next month, there better not be anybody else here.
But we did end up eating somewhere.
We ate somewhere for lunch on Thanksgiving. That was Denny's, and you got the traditional turkey meal with all the fixings, and I got a waffle and scrambled eggs with bacon. And then we came home, and hours later, we attacked the Cajun fried turkey like rabid wolves. It was really great.
It was delicious.
Well, that's like us, when we go to his brother's house. I mean, they have appetizers all over the place. Mm-hmm. So we'll munch on the appetizers while we're waiting for the turkey to get done. So by the time, and then, of course, in the meanwhile, the kids are opening up their presents. And then by the time the, turkey gets here and everything's done, we're chowing down. And then, then we're so stuffed that we have to wait for dessert.
It's funny.
What's the matter, honey? He went out?
We can hear the echo in the background.
Yeah, he shut the bedroom door. He had to let Dino out.
Oh, okay.
Dino had to go outside. He had to go potty.
Uh-oh. It's hard not to laugh when we're thinking of somebody else.
I know, and I love it when you say Dino's on the phone and we're not talking about Bev's, Dino. Hey, you know what? I think Elliot, our cat Elliot, and Muffin would get along great.
No, Muffin does not like other cats. She goes off the deep end when she sees another cat. One came up to the window of our back door, and she lost her, like doing backflips and hissing, and it was a really cold night, and it was like dark outside, and it was just like this cat. You could see this other cat was like, "Just let me in, please, let me in, just let me in." I'm like, "Yeah, if you want to ass whooping, I'll let you in." But yeah, Muffin lost her cool. She is very territorial.
Wow. Now, see, well, when we got Elliot, we got his little sister too, Sophie. So he was always around another cat, but he likes other cats. But if they come up on the porch, like outside cats, if they come up on the porch, then he goes nuts. Dino goes nuts. We got this one neighborhood cat. Loves to come up and lay on our chairs. We got wicker chairs out there.
Mm-hmm. You sure it's a cat, not a raccoon?
And, well, we used to. No, it's a cat. It was a cat. And Dino would just go nuts. Oh.
It's just hard. It's hard to get the image of Dino out of my head, and every time she's talking about her dog.
I know, isn't it confusing? But see, okay, Bob and Jeff, his brother Jeff, their first dog was a standard-sized Dachshund. So they named him Dino after the Flintstones.
Okay.
So every time we've had a Dachshund, his name has been Dino, except for Roxy. She was a girl, so she couldn't be called Dino.
She couldn't be called Pebbles? Pebbles.
Well, see, she was already named. We got her from rescue.
That's the way Muffin was already named, because she was a rescue.
Mm-hmm. But I kind of tweaked her name, and I call her McMuffin.
McMuffin. Well, see, her original name was Oxiana, but we always like shortening them.
I thought she was going to say
Oxycontin.
Oxiana.
After the drug.
And boy, every time that cat came along, it was like...
Everybody got high as a kite.
Well, see, and we kind of renamed her Roxiana, so we called her Roxy. But could you imagine calling our dog Oxy? Here, Oxy!
Well,
they'd probably be asking you, did you name your dog Oxymoron? That's what.
Oxymoron. I never thought of that.
It sounds like some of the things that
English humor.
When I'm messing with the cat, I'll call her different things. Well, Bev,
Well, I call ours...
What do you call her?
I call Elliot Fat Ass. Because he's so cute. I mean, he weighs about 30, 35 pounds, and he's bigger than Dino. He's taller than Dino, and longer than Dino. Oh, God. So whenever I talk to him, I'll say, hey, fat ass, come here. And he comes to me.
And for all those space cadets, when you thought Bev was so nice and couldn't say anything negative. All right. Well, we're at the bottom of the hour, Bev. It's always lovely to hear from you.
Well, I am nice, though.
Are you?
That's just a nickname I have for
because
him.
we get reports from Bob, and he's telling some terrible stories.
Oh, don't listen to anything he says.
Oh, okay.
Because they're not true. I am a perfect angel.
Okay, he's about to say something in chat. He said the True Bev came out. The True Bev came out tonight.
Oh! Well, you were talking about nicknames, and we called Dino Ween Dean. Oh. What in the world, Bob? Oh, I know what he's talking about when I said I'm an angel.
Yeah, the digital delay?
Yeah.
All right.
Because I can hear it through the door.
All right, Bev, we got to run.
It's been nice talking to you guys.
Yes, we love you to death.
It's good hearing from you after a while.
Thanks for letting us have the last week off.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Everybody needs time off. We just have too much of it.
Indeed. Okay, so
I just need to.
We love you, Bev. So I guess
So
we'll
we
talk to you next week. Yes, we will
And
have
I
a show
love
next
you guys
week.
too,
Oh, yeah.
very much.
We'll have a show to the end of the year.
I love you guys so much.
Bob's going to get this in delay.
Bye-bye.
Bob's going to get a delay here. Hugs to Bob.
Bye, Bob. Bye, Bev.
Bye,
Okay.
Bob. Bye, Bev.
Bye-bye.
Sometimes it's just hard to say goodbye.
It is. All right, so here's the bottom of the hour. Let's take the final break of the evening.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe on the SBU network.
Explore the universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lotta.
Get your game on Spaceboy Universe. Level up with Spaceboy Universe. No quarters, no problems. Play it at Spaceboy Universe.
You are listening to Spaceboy Universe. Here are your hosts, Spaceboy and Sir Lana.
I just want to say that we're really thankful for the group of people that tune in. Catalina, Miss Michelle, Jean, Beverly, Bob, Dino, K28 when he crawls in there. That's always nice to see him too. But we're really thankful for our SBU family that tune in, and we appreciate you. And I just wanted to take a moment to just say that thank you.
I feel like we're about to do a pledge drive. Wouldn't hurt. No. Anyway.
Yeah.
So I found an article. Well, I looked at it. This article is 2 years old, maybe 3 years old, but I don't care. It's just funny. I'm on a UK website, in case you're wondering where this is coming from. Let me go ahead and read this to you. Campaign to change the name of fire ants to Spicy Boys gathers pace. Oh my gosh, this is a real thing. So it's been a week of petitions.
Is this like UK Mail website?
Independent.co.uk.
Okay.
Let's see. Rechristening of fire ants to their rightful name of Spicy Boys. In 2016, there are 36 genders, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't we calling fire ants Spicy Boys? It's got 16... at the time of this article, it says it had 16,000 signees with musicians and reporters around the world backing the campaign. Fire ants, a common name for several species of ants, genus Solenopsis, though they go by red ant, in some parts ginger ant. That's very British. It's time we put an end to this confusion, all agree on the superior name. It's taken far too long for this issue to be dragged into the public eye, one of the signers said. This time for this fire any nonsense to stop. This time has come for this to stop. Let's all just agree that Spicy Boys are called Spicy Boys and move on. We reached out to the International Commission on Zoological Nomenclature for comment, but they have not commented. This is my way to segue into the fact that this week I was bitten by fire ants on both of my feet. And let's just say it ruined that day. It ruined the next day. And the next day after that wasn't great either. So I went and got some Benadryl cream and pills. I took the pill, and I haven't had a Benadryl pill in like years. And I went on some magical, mystical journey. Just Benadryl. And, yeah, they bite you and it burns and it stings and it itches, and it doesn't just go on for a few minutes. It goes on for days, the itching and, and then it leaves behind these, it looks like little pimples. Mm-hmm. And then it goes into red dots, and it's just, all I was doing, I left out the front door and I got in my car. That's all I did.
Well, there's a big thing here in Texas to always check your shoes before you put your shoes on.
That could be a thing, too. I mean, the shoes were in the house, though, in the hallway, but that's possible. But I don't know. Maybe I stepped in something really super quick, and that's all it took. Because it happened once I got in the car, bam. So I felt it, and I was like, I had to go. I had to go to work. I didn't have time to deal with it, but I just, I couldn't imagine what was... I mean, I've been hit by a fire ant before, but it's mostly on my hands or something, But, yeah, it messed up. My foot was swollen, and it was tender, and it was painful, and I figured out once the bite area started bubbling up, I'm like, oh, that's a fire ant. Because I've seen it. It looks just like a nasty pimple. Mm-hmm. But the itching goes on for days and days. Even after the pain has stopped, the itching just is like... talk about an animal or a creature, an insect that says, don't F with us ever again. Fire ants. So those dadgum little Spicy Boys, I tell you what, I about had enough of that. So
they were the main reason why we didn't end up building the super collider here in Texas.
Too many of them underground.
Mm-hmm.
They would get in and what?
Well,
F things up.
They would.
Terrifying video shows maggot-eating spider leaping out of lair. I'll spare you that one.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
In other news, let's say, let's go back to things we understand. Amazon. So, Amazon is using dummy parcels to catch thieves. So, there's a lot of people who
drive
will
the neighborhoods and
look for packages and just walk up and take them. Even if you've got security cameras on your house, there's not much you can do if you're not there. So, Amazon's teamed up with police in the U.S. in an effort to stop thieves who steal parcels outside of homes. Okay, so like in New Jersey, they're planting dummy boxes fitted with GPS trackers coupled with hidden doorbell cameras homes in New Jersey. So they selected homes for this experiment. They were chosen using the city's own crime statistics combined with mapping the data of theft locations supplied by Amazon. So the local law enforcement and Amazon worked together to find these hotspots, right?
Mm-hmm.
One box, was stolen 3 minutes after it was delivered. Amazon said, "We appreciate the increased efforts by local law enforcement to tackle package theft and remain committed to assisting it however we can." Now, the U.S. Postal Service expects to deliver 9 million packages before Christmas. Amazon launched a service called Amazon Key that allowed homeowners with smart locks to let couriers open their doors via an app and leave parcels inside, but that seemed like a step too far. You really got to trust your parcel carrier, don't you? So here's some tips they have to avoid delivery theft. Have them delivered to a workplace or a friend who you know is going to be home during the day. Insist that deliveries must be signed for. So if you're not there to sign, they can't deliver it. Install cameras that will give police some video evidence. Use a service that provides a storage box drivers can unlock by entering a code or a keypad. Now, again, that's kind of like the Walmart locker thing.
Mm-hmm.
Amazon does provide lockers for people to pick up parcels, and they say such as shopping centers, convenience stores, airports, train stations. No, they're not there. They're at a Whole Food store.
Now, I did see on YouTube where this one individual was getting packages stolen, so he took matters into his own hands, and he filled a box up with dog crap.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a video camera, and he videotaped them taking the box, and I guess they got in the car and they opened it up, and they got the dookie in the hand. So
that could seriously backfire on you if they come back and try to retaliate.
Well, I don't think that they would come back. There was another one where they had a box and they put some kind of wire to it, so when they took off with the box, they got a harsh reality of being jerked back because it was tied down. There was also an individual who put a GPS in a box and bought some kind of something to make it look valuable or whatever,
mm-hmm.
and was able to track the box that was stolen within a certain area, within a 10-yard area where the package was with the UPS.
Yeah. Clever.
But he couldn't narrow it down, and the police couldn't do anything either. So, but you're right, Bev. That definitely stopped him. But yeah, there are individuals that are taking this into their own hands.
Well, good. I think it's good for them. If our local law enforcement's too busy, then
there was one where the lady slipped and fell and messed up her leg because you could see her
mm-hmm.
hopping away. She said, "Forget this, I'm getting out of here." And she was trying to hop away from stealing the box, and she must have twisted an ankle or something. But
well, that's what you get.
Another one was where they had the big box and they actually had somebody inside the box, and so they were radioing, "Okay, they're coming for the box, and so at the last minute the guy jumps out of the box and gives the guy a heart attack. And I mean, he's trying to run as fast as he can. He's crawling on the lawn, and finally gets to the car, the getaway car. So yeah, I tell you, that is the wrong thing to do, especially here in Texas.
Yeah, because we're armed. We're armed and dangerous here. Looking for some more
mm-hmm.
news real quick. We talked about that last time. Man puts up sculpture of middle finger as a message to town. I think we just discussed that last time we were on the air. Apparently, it's still a big deal. He didn't get permission from the city council to put up an additional building, which was supposed to be a garage on his own property, and they either ignored it or they said no, and he just let him know how he felt about it because it's considered art. He got away with it.
What, his garage?
No, the sculpture of the middle finger.
Oh.
I think that's pretty funny. That you couldn't have a garage, but you can have a middle finger.
Well, you've got some things that require, permits to build onto your own house, even though it's on your own property. You still need permits by the city to put that stuff in.
I'm looking at we call it a marquee that's outside of a business with the latest headlines. It's just, they type it out, but there's no further explanation. Here's one that says, woman arrested during vigil for lobsters. There's no further.
Okay.
Banana man rescued from roundabout. Let's see, dog with 3 legs. That's like a thing.
Did these take place in Florida?
No, this is the UK
because
again.
funny enough, a lot of these things take place in Florida.
Oh my gosh, Florida. If there's a hotbed of crazy, it's all in Florida. Because they've got, let's see, Florida News 2018. I could tell you this is from Ranker.com. A man tried to purchase a hot dog with cannabis in Florida. An intoxicated man started a fire while making cookies in the nude on a Foreman grill in Florida. Candidate for the House of Representatives believes aliens abducted her. This is Florida.
Wait, hold on. A man started a fire with the Foreman grill while trying to make cookies?
In the Foreman grill.
Okay, how would that...
Would you like to know more?
I just don't understand how that would catch on fire.
Officers in Niceville, or Niceville, I don't know which one it is, responded to a call concerning a house fire why am I laughing? During the last week of August 2018, when they arrived around 5:30 p.m. local time, a naked man opened the door, told officers, "I'm sorry," and closed the door on them. The nude man opened the door again, leaving it ajar as he retreated back into his home. The man didn't seem to either care or understand the potential danger he was in. A police officer removed the man from his home, and firefighters told Northwest Florida Daily News that if he remained in his house, he would have died from smoke inhalation or worse. So how did the fire start? The man confessed to drinking 2 liters of vodka and smoking cannabis starting around 9 a.m. Authorities examined the fire-damaged house, and after the investigation and some questioning, they discovered a bizarre start to the fire. Allegedly, the man decided to bake some cookies, and instead of using the oven, he opted to use his Foreman grill. He left the grill on, and it caught fire. In an effort to smother the flames, he placed dry towels or paper towels on top of the grill.
Okay.
Towels caught fire, and the flames started to spread.
So he probably didn't check on his cookies for a while, and it ignited the paper towel roll, and the rest is history.
That's
but,
how you know.
This is just an example of the many stories that we get out of Florida. And there's a lot of them.
Security officer fired for uploading his farts to Instagram. A man had his monkey taken away after he was arrested for driving a stolen car.
What? How could they take away his monkey?
Sounds like something else. Spider monkey attacked a Home Depot employee when it escaped from its owner's car. Maybe that was the monkey they took.
It reminds me of the old stories of Darwin, that monkey that they had dressed up in a...
IKEA.
Yeah, IKEA.
The city of Lake Worth warned its residents about zombies. Start time 2018-0520, projected repair time, blah, blah, blah. Power outage and zombie alert for residents of Lake Worth and Terminus. There are now less than 7,380 customers involved due to extreme zombie activity. Restoration time uncertain. Lake Worth, this is Twitter, Palm Beach Post, breaking, Lake Worth falsely sends out zombie alert during power outage. Oh my goodness. Woman blamed for a windy day for the cocaine found in her purse. So the cocaine just blew into her purse. Yeah. Police arrested a Florida man for climbing on top of a playground structure and lecturing kids on where babies come from. And there's his mugshot. That's terrifying. He's got a fully tattooed face. So I would see why they'd be terrified. Let's see. But that's just Florida. Like, you know, the site Reddit, they have a subreddit just for Florida. And it's just bad crap,
news
crazy.
Article after news article, huh?
Yes. You put in crazy Florida in Google, and it's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of links. The most bat blank insane things that ever happened in Florida. Police say Nickelback drummer victim of fraud by Port St. Lucie man. Florida church changes sign after message interpreted as sexual, and it said, "Forgiveness is swallowing when you want to spit." Oh, I heard this one. Have you heard this one? This is like 2 years old. Police report. Mom says it's too hot in the squad car after she was arrested for allegedly leaving a child in her hot car. The nerve. Are you kidding me?
I'm not surprised. Well, Sir Lana, we're getting close to the top of the hour, which means our exit out of here, and it's the dreaded housekeeping.
Well, speaking with Robert in chat, if it goes well, we may have him on next week, or it will be at another time. But he does seem keen to come back and reschedule. If not, we'll talk about some more random things I'll gather. I noted some things we talked about tonight we could go more in depth on, and I'll try to bring up some Christmassy stuff because I really want to talk about the dark part of Christmas, like Krampus and things like the things people don't really go into. You know,
the dark side of Christmas.
Why do we have to have these, dark myths? But I'll do that. But I also want to, maybe we could touch upon things like what's the real story behind 5G. Maybe some other things that we talked about during the week and last week. Let's see, I put down here maybe some conspiracy stuff. It'd just be sort of a random
topic.
ramp up.
In other words, topic roulette.
Yeah, well, topic roulette, but we will do some Christmassy stuff. And if we don't have a guest, reschedule. Now, the next one, I think, is the 22nd? Or is the next 22nd? That's next week. So the 29th show is going to be our annual year in review and prediction. So we'll talk about good stuff, bad stuff that happened in 2018 and what we have to look forward to in 2019.
Mm-hmm. And, we'll take your predictions, too, and put them in our archive, and we'll review them for next year. That's if the universe doesn't go to a big crunch here at the SBU.
Yeah, that's true. Anything could happen.
All right. So I can't think of anything else.
Just keep watching social media to find out the latest, when we'll be on, who will be on. Have I killed him? Has he killed me? That type of thing.
Who won the death pool?
Ooh.
So anyway, as always, thank you for tuning into the universe, your home for all sorts of interesting topics. And we will get Robert Sullivan IV back on. I will talk to him tomorrow and see when we could do that.
Spaceboy Universe is hosted by Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Executive producer is Sir Lana. Associate producer is Lee Ann Cordes. Music production is Spaceboy of SpaceboyMusic.com. Special thanks goes out to Lee Ann K, K28, Dino, Solars Blue Raven, Patrick Sporer, Bob and Beverly N. This has been a Spaceboy Universe production. Support the universe by exploring Spaceboy Universe with Spaceboy and Sir Lana. Sweet dreams, Space Cadets.
Hi, I'm Spaceboy.
And I'm Sir Lana.
And you're listening to Spaceboy Universe
on the Paranormal UK Radio Network.